Good morning, and we are live. I do apologize for being late, a couple of minutes late. That is my fault. Have never lied to you. I'm not going to lie to you now. I had to pee. Bathroom next door to my office. The door was locked, so I had to run all the way across the house, take care of my business, and run all the way back. Yeah, my fault. My bad. We're here. Let's do this. So yeah, there was a question in the chat there. I was scrolling back trying to find it. I couldn't find it, but it's okay. We'll start with that. It was the question is, was the person that showed up in Alaska for the summit a body double for Putin? And if you don't know, yeah, that's a thing. Putin has body doubles. He does. They make appearances for him. He is very paranoid for a good reason that someone is going to kill him. There are estimates between 3 and 5 body doubles that he has. They all look very similar to him, but there are some distinct, a few differences that you can pan out. The person that showed up for this summit with Donald Trump, and it did not go as long as it was supposed to, folks. It really didn't. They were supposed to have a one-on-one. They were supposed to have a meeting for an hour. It went 15 minutes. This person was in and out. A lot of people drew attention to the fact. The answer is I don't know if it was a body double or not. But there's a lot of people that are taking a look at this and saying, look, there's some distinct differences. One, Putin has Asperger's. He does. He doesn't do well with human emotions. Go back to that interview he did with Tucker Carlson. He came off as extremely angry and demeaning, and this is somebody that he's supposed to like. You know what I mean? He doesn't translate emotions well, and the person that showed up here in Alaska was jovial and laughing and responding to questions with emotion and stuff like that. People called that out, and they also called out to the fact that Putin is a trained KGB agent. One of the ways, and they have stopped doing this, by the way, because you can knock off a KGB agent with this. But during the 80s and the Cold War, when Putin was a KGB agent, there's actually a picture of him standing right next to Ronald Reagan in the crowd behind him. He's got a kid there that he pretends to be his son, but it's not his son, and he just, he's within this close of Ronald Reagan. When Putin walks, to this day, he does not move his right arm. And that was a tell for KGB agents. They would train, they don't swing their right arm when they walk. Their left arm, they'll swing. But the right arm, never. Does anybody know why they used to train that way? Wild guess. Wild guess. That's their gun hand. That's their gun hand. They would train that fanatically about that. And yeah, but anyways, a lot of people are saying that this was a body double, which would make sense. It would. I don't know if it was a body double or not. It did not look like the latest pictures of Putin that we've seen. His hair must grow remarkably fast because Putin's hair was tight just a few days ago, and then in this one, this guy had hair. So I don't know. conspiracy theory out there. No one knows, no one can know. It doesn't matter because it was a useless summit. But before we get to the summit and all of that, there's something else I want to talk about. There's a couple serious things that are going on that I want to do later in the show because you're not going to want to laugh after those. Um, this happened. This happened. I am not on X anymore. I will not produce content. I will not do anything to give Elon Musk money. And you people that go out and buy Teslas, screw you. Screw you. But I will not do anything to. I gave up a pretty extensive platform over on X. It was one of my larger. And by the way, it hasn't hurt us at all. Just an FYI, I did some totaling. We talked to over 7 million people last month. Our community, you're doing it, folks. You're doing it. We will win the messaging war if we keep at it. We talked to over 7 million people last month. And that's on you. That's not me. That's on you. Leaders and people that present themselves as leaders and stuff don't have power. Their power comes from the people standing behind them and the people that grow their communities and their support. That's on you, folks. Hitting the thumbs up buttons, hitting the subscribe button, all of that works. It works. So yeah, congratulations to you folks. 7 million people reached in the last month. But yeah, we've got something funny that's happened on X. I am friends with several major commentators on social media, independent commentators, independent journalists, and so on. Lori Yates, thanks for the support. I really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm very grateful. A couple comments I'm going to read real quick, and then we're going to get to it. But something happened on X. I got a phone call that says, "Hey, man, you keeping track of this?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It says, "Oh, this is just blowing up on X. It's hilarious. You got to check it out." I'm like, "Dude, I don't have an X account. I don't do X anymore. I don't know why you people do. I won't give Elon Musk money or content or anything to make money off of. I won't put my interesting shit over there for him to have a platform. I won't do it." But he's like, "Dude, you got to see this." I'm like, "Look, if it's really good, it will explode onto other platforms." And boy, did it. Boy, did it. It is hilarious. Dark Gavin has gone viral. It is great. You're going to love this. Be patient with me. We're going to get to serious news in a minute, but this is freaking hilarious. E.T., maybe he thought the Mad King would arrest him because he could have. Yeah. There's some very serious stuff going on, but we're going to have a good laugh to begin with. We are. Raymond Weaver, Putin having Asperger's is an insult to people like me that have it. I don't mean it as an insult. I hope you don't say I'm insulting him. No, he has Asperger's. He does. And Asperger's isn't like many other diseases, is on a spectrum. There are some people that it does not affect. There's some very, 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 very intelligent, very high functioning people that have Asperger's. This is not a demeaning statement at all. I'm just telling you, Putin's Asperger's affect him, in part of what affects him is he has a very difficult time with expressing normal human emotions. Putin wanted to cuck Trump in person. He did. Putin stayed long enough to collect his money. That's a good one, Gregory Brown. That's a good one. Yeah, this was a joke. This was. Oh, you know what? Let's just get the summit out of the way because there's not much to talk about with the summit. We talked about this in the last show. I was like, these things are planned. These things are put together. The president is sidelined for weeks prepping for a summit. These things are not slapdash put together at the last minute. And this one was because Trump is in trouble over the Epstein files. Trump is in political trouble over the Epstein files. The economy is tanking. Inflation is on the rise. The economy is slowing. Businesses, I don't know if you saw the latest report, but more businesses have shut down so far in the first half of 2025 than shut down in all of 2024. The news out there for Trump is freaking horrible. Then this DC thing is blowing up in his face. We're going to talk about that later. This summit was thrown together. It was a willy-nilly, harebrained idea by Trump. He just announced it without clearing it with anybody. Oh, I'm going to do a summit. I'm going to do it so everybody, including Putin, pandered to this dumbass because, and Putin knew this was nothing but a huge win for Putin. It was a massive coup on Putin's part because what happened the day after, exactly what everybody was afraid was going to happen. Trump comes out talking the exact Russian line: no ceasefire, land for peace. Everything that exactly what Putin demands is exactly what Trump walked out of that summit saying. So yeah, it was a slapdash, last minute, put together, idiotic summit. And the people around him are idiots. Lenore Banks here says, back after 3 weeks of hiding with my head in the sand, had to come see if we were in full blown foobar yet. No, we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. Oh Lord. Canadian Paul says Krasnov is owned by Putin. The first trap was a plant, and it's much worse than that. Newest bill. I like my ice neat. There you go, man. There you go, brother. Thank you for that's a lot of support, brother. I appreciate you being here. Is it? And again, email me and tell me, is it New West bill or newest bill? Because New West bill, I don't know that. That's kind of cool. John Leger. Why did I get it right, brother? We've been emailing back and forth, and he sent me a phonetic on how to pronounce it. I think I got it right. John Leger. Why did they even bother to have a summit if they knew nothing was to come of it? I think it was an exchange of money and classified info. It was a distraction. It was a distraction. You have to understand, it was a pure win. And thank you for the support, John. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the train pictures, by the way. By the way, that's a picture that, yeah. Anyways, we'll get there. That was from Steve Akai. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was from Steve Akai. Thank you for the train picture, Steve. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And the ones you sent me of your models. I appreciate those. But yeah, no, I disagree with you there. Everybody's like, oh, they handed off money and this. There's so many easier ways to do it than that. I mean, that would be calling attention. This was literally Trump trying to change the narrative, trying to change the conversation, trying to get everybody to quit talking about Epstein, trying to get everybody to quit talking about his failures. The economy had tanked. And I mean, it worked to a degree, but then again, it plays into the exact narrative of the failure and stupidity and incompetence that these people represent. Susie Q, thank you for turning YouTube ads off during the lives. They aren't turned off. They just haven't hit you yet. I'm sorry. They haven't. I'm sorry. That's YouTube. I can't control them. I can't control them. But yeah, this happened, folks. This happened. Give me 1 second to pull it up for you. 1 second. I had this set up for later in the show, so I got to go hunt through dozens of tabs. Here we go. Yeah, this happened. I told you, they are surrounded by incompetent people. This is actually a really big freaking deal. And they know it's a big deal because they paid the troll farms to go active on this one. The bots are really active on this, trying to kill this story. And it's kind of to a degree worked. The corporate media has kind of written it off as not much, but it is a big fucking deal. It is. If you don't know what this is all about, there's if you've never been up to Alaska or Anchorage, that area, go. Alaska is a remarkably beautiful state. And I know all the people in Alaska just heard me say that and said, no, don't do it. They hate when we all show up there. They really do. But I'm telling you, go anyways. It is beyond gorgeous. If you get a chance to see Denali, if you get a chance, that's a hard one, folks. We were very lucky to spend several weeks up there, so we could go to both Denali and the Kenai Peninsula, and it's a big freaking state, man. I mean, you usually can't get that all done in one trip. We got a lot done. We were moving fast though. I mean, we were moving during that trip. Yes, Skagway is gorgeous. Let me tell you, in Skagway, I had the neatest freaking experience in Skagway. We went down to the docks, and there was an inlet, a water inlet there that had a screen over it. But fish don't know what the fuck a screen is. They don't. They were just following the current. And then the seals got behind them and they started running from the seals. They were running to this inlet and getting stopped. And the seals had this figured out. They were getting stopped by the screen that covered this water inlet. And there were just tens of thousands of fish that they had, salmon that they had pushed into this one area. And the seals were just swimming around the outside, picking one off, and they had just eaten their fill and they were happy and they were just swimming. And the water, ask anybody that's been, I can't explain to you what the water in Alaska looks like. It looks like it's irradiated. It does. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I have never seen water glow before. It is amazing the color that this water is. It's not just blue. It's not like the blue you see down in the Caribbean. It is, you just have to see it. Pictures don't do it justice. You just have to see it. It is freaking amazing. But these seals, beautiful gray spotted seals, were just and enjoying themselves. And they had eaten their fill, so they got interested in us. And it is ice blue. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And just one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life was just that. We probably spent an hour down there just watching seals. It was amazing. It was amazing. They were watching us. We were watching them and they were watching us, man. It was really cool. It was really cool. No, I didn't go do any fishing, but I did get a hookup. But I'll be honest with you, I can't, guys, I'd like to tell you I'm rich, but I'm not. I am not. A fishing trip to Alaska is not cheap. It's probably going to be several more years of squirreling pennies away before we head back up there. But I did get a hookup for a salmon fishing guide up there that is just amazing. I mean, we watched them again. Something else that was really amazing was just watching them. They use rowboats. No shit. This river is moving, man. And the guide will be in a rowboat just rowing his ass off while people are fishing. And I'm just watching them pull these freaking massive salmon in was just amazing. We got there right in the middle. There's different seasons for the different kinds of salmon that butt right up against each other. It was an incredible, it was an incredible experience. They were catching salmon. But then that guide would turn around and just and he would row him right back up river against that river. And I mean, that river is moving, brother. I'm telling you, it was amazing. I was like, no, surely he's going to fire up a motor. Nope. Nope. But we got to hook up there. We're going to do it someday. But look, this happened. There's the Captain Hook Hotel. I got diverted off what I was talking about, and I'm sorry. Good, Andy. I'm glad to see you got it. I'm glad to see you got it, brother. This happened. This is a big freaking deal. Look, let me explain. I know several people that are agents. They're criminal investigators. They are. If they have to print something, they're in a hotel. They will pick up their laptop. They will go to the federal building and they will print in the offices what they need. Because a lot of what they print has classified material in it. They don't sit and just print shit in the hotel. And if they did get in a situation where they had to use a public network and a public printer, they would hit print and they would run their ass down to the printer and they would be there for that shit to come off the printer. And it would be a very special circumstance. Now, if it's your job to travel with the president and stuff, you have your own printer. You have your own equipment. But these imbeciles, they're printing this shit off, and they left it on the printer at the Captain Hook Hotel in Alaska. The bots have gone active on this to say, oh, it was just a menu. No, it wasn't. This is not a menu, folks. This is not a menu. This is their exact itinerary to the minute. I will tell you, this is the important one, joint press conference. This went 15 minutes. That's how badly this went. It was supposed to be an hour, went 15 minutes. Talked about the gifts that were exchanged, people's phone numbers. They left a lot. I mean, they've got these people identified by face. They left a lot of information laying on that printer that would be considered classified, including the goddamn seating chart of where every single person at that meeting would be seated at the table. I kid you not. And then, of course, the last page was the menu. So now the right-wingers are saying, oh, it was just a menu. That's what they're telling their stupid people so that their stupid people can blow it off. But yeah, this slapdash, half-ass, bullshit failure, embarrassing failure in which Trump was humiliated, got nothing he said he was demanding going in, and then turned around, walked out, just parroting Putin's talking points. Thanks for being here, Control X. I appreciate you. It's important to have our European audience here. Thank you. And the press was just horrific for Trump. I mean, it was. The global press was just horrific for Trump. I mean, these are the images that are being shared right now. I mean, you've got Trump meandering around, I mean, it's just beyond embarrassing, the press that's coming out of this. It is something. It is really something. And people did call attention to this. 1 second, give me a second to pull it up. This video's been spread. This video clip's been spread far and wide. There have been a lot of concerns about Trump's health, and that was one of the things that all the experts came out with after this, is that Trump, his poor health was on display during this, and it's just more obvious that mentally he's not there, physically he's not there. He's not smart enough to handle these types of events. I mean, he sits there and he was clapping for Putin when he got off the plane. He looked like an imbecilic child. Might have shared this one, and it's been shared all over. But watch Trump just try. They sped it up so that it's more obvious, but look at him just try to walk. I mean, he can't walk in a straight line. When I was telling you that they do prep ahead of these, one of the things that they do is they've got somebody that comes in and says, now look, in this situation, you're going to have the cameras will be watching this, that, and the other. When you're standing and waiting, don't pick your nose. Don't this. There's going to be cameras from all over the world looking at you. Straight posture. Look up. You remember the summit in Helsinki with Reagan and Gorbachev? That's the one thing I'll give Reagan. He was a fucking actor. He could do this. His people came in and told him, we're talking sub-zero temperatures and the wind is blowing. Reagan's neck was just blowing in the wind, man. But Reagan stood out there with nothing but a suit on, no overcoat, didn't move an inch, stood at attention. And here comes Gorbachev popping out of a Zeal limousine. He's got a scarf wrapped around him and he's hunched over and is locked up. Reagan won that moment. Reagan won that moment. These are the type of things that they prep presidents for. There's an entire, I'm telling you folks, there's an entire profession within the State Department for preparing a president for this type of meeting. And this was such a slapdash, humiliating, stupid, put Trump's weakness and frailty on display. It was horrible. Anyways, I don't want to, there's so much to talk about. We spent 30 minutes talking about that. But yeah, we're going to move on from this. But yeah, it was exactly what I told you. It was going to be nothing but a win for Putin. And it was. Shortness 3,000. It was so sickening seeing U.S. soldiers rolling the red carpet out for Putin. I hope Americans are just as sick as I am of this. That was another one that went viral, was the American soldiers. I didn't play that because I don't like to denigrate our soldiers, but on their hands and knees rolling out the red carpet for Putin. Yeah. But anyways, let's talk about something fun for a second, okay? I got a phone call from another, you'll know him, but I'm not going to call him out, but you know this person, but he called me and said, look, this is going on X. I'm like, I don't follow X. He says, dude, you got to see this. You got to see this. And he sent me this. This is what set it off. To you and me, this is, you wouldn't react to this, right? I mean, MAGA lost their frickin' minds over this. I mean, they were just sharing it all over MAGA social media. They just lost their damn minds over this picture, right? This is what set it off. And it was hilarious to me because, you know, Gavin Newsom has been doing a great job of trolling. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate you being here and I appreciate you supporting the show. I really do. But I had to laugh because that's what set him up. So they started trolling MAGA and having a good time with him. And here comes Gavin with Jesus. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. First it was Gavin with Jesus. And then they started really having fun with it. These just exploded. If you were not on social media last night, you missed a viral storm of Dark Gavin. There was this one. Then this one was actually a GIF. I can't play it for you because the person that I found this on actually dubbed music to it. You see the, but it is out there with music on it. And I got to tell you, ladies, the guys, you could tell the ones that the guys put together and then the ones that people put together that really, really, really understood the psychology behind it, but it was great. It was great. This guy put a commentary with it in all caps, mocking Trump. Let me tell you, folks, Gavin Newsom is the greatest American to ever live. Everybody knows it. He is strong. He is tough. He is smart, very smart. Nobody fights for America like Gavin. You get the idea, right? I'm not going to read the whole thing. But yeah, they went next level, folks. They did. They went next level. I got to tell you, this one was great. This is from Am I Doing It Right? You guys got to tell me which one you think is best. You got to tell me which one you think is best. One second. This guy had a couple of them. He had a couple that were actually good. There's another GIF that blew up. And MAGA was losing their damn. I laughed so freaking hard. The people had such a good time with this. They had such a good time with this. They really did. They really did have a good time with it. This went on for hours, folks. I'm only going to put about 8 or 10 of these up, but this went on for hours. I had to laugh so freaking hard. I did. But then they started getting good with it. They did. They started getting good with it. They started pulling the psychology of the game into it. Yeah, I know that. I know. It's on your flag. I got that. I get it. I get it. There's a lot of people, but they really started to get good with it. Yeah. Next level good with it. Oh my god. I'm so happy to see people having fun with it. I am so happy to see people having fun with it. I really am. I really am. And I gotta tell you, I am way behind. I am way behind because of what I had put out before this all started. Um, be- Before all this started, I put out this one, and I thought I was onto something. Snowy Mountain says, "Man, made me laugh. Hard to do these days, and good to see some fun from the day." Yeah, people were having a blast with this, folks. They really were. Casey Hackinson, Gavin needs to troll JD Vance, all the taxpayer-funded vacations. He actually did. Uh, he challenged JD Vance to a debate. He said, "You want to run your mouth? Do it to my face." I'm telling you, Gavin Newsom is on a roll, man. He is on a roll. Thank you, people, for all the support and all the comments. I'm sorry if I've missed your comment, but I put this out. I thought this was great, but yeah, my game. I got to step my game up, man. I think you people get this one. That's a real photo, by the way. Please tell me y'all get this, right? I was like, hey, hey, hey. Come on. Where's my JB Pritzker people? Where are my JB Pritzker people? And I got to tell you, they came right back firing back. They did. They're like, we got JB Pritzker as the Holt. There was a couple of JB Pritzker. One of them is the Great Khan. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, here comes Big Gretchen Whitmer entered the chat. Oh my God. It was great. I kid you not. This went on for over an hour, folks. Over an hour it went on. I would bet you there's new ones still popping up today. If you haven't spent some time on social media, do it. Do it. It is worth it. It is worth it. Democrats were having so much fun last night. You just got to enjoy yourself. You do. You do. There's so much stupid shit going on. You just got to enjoy yourself. You really do. We got an update with the DC sandwich guy. Yeah, if you don't know the whole story behind this so far, and the fact that this is, I told you folks, they're dragging their own camera crews around. This is all for TV.
You're fucking way! You did it!
DC sandwich guy.
Motherfucker!
I will never not love that. I will never not love that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyways, all right. So he went before a judge. Now, here's the full story. When he got arrested, he was arrested and released. He got a lawyer. He's a lawyer. He knows he needs a lawyer. The lawyer tried to contact the DOJ. They tried to contact the courts. Everybody. No one was taking her call. Then she found out why nobody was taking her call, because at 11 o'clock that night, 20 police officers in riot gear with a news camera showed up at Sean Dunn's house and arrested him again for the cameras. Judge lost their mind about this. I mean, the judge absolutely lost his mind about this. He did. He's like, one, the charges are freaking ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous what you're charging him for. And two, no, I'm not going to freaking hold him, and released him. He's got to reappear in September. And let me tell you what's going to happen with this, folks. Between now and September, the DOJ is going to really hope this goes away. They got their footage that they wanted with the guy with the cameras, and the cops with the cameras. They got that. They did. They're going to really hope this goes away. They're going to offer a plea deal. They're going to try to get this off the table. I hope Mr. Dunn here I hope he runs this through the entire courts. I can't tell another person what to do with their life, but I hope to God he doesn't take a plea deal on this, because this is going to humiliate them. Because no, the judge has already warned the DOJ, these charges are ridiculous. They are. They will be walking into an incredibly hostile courtroom if they try to do this. And they've had the red meat for their base. They've told the idiots that don't pay attention that they're gonna run this guy through the ringer and this, that, and the other. But no, this is gonna go away, because let me tell you something. This plays to what is assaulting a police officer. And there is not a department, no law enforcement agency wants this case to be the defining case of what is assaulting an officer, because they abuse that daily. Daily, they abuse. Oh, that was assault. You touched me. That's assault. Yeah. This is going to go away. I promise you, 100%. This is going away. Glenn Kaneko, bet Gavin's enjoying that too. I don't do social media other than YouTube, but those are great. Yeah, I'm telling you, brother, you are really missing it. Blue Sky, Threads. It didn't stay on X. It spilled out everywhere. It did. It was great. It was enjoyable. So Trump has moved. Let's go ahead and get the DC thing out of the way. Trump has moved more troops to DC. He has. And look, folks, when I tell you they're bringing cameras around and this is for TV and whatever, other folks have started to pick up on that. You've heard me say that over the last couple of weeks. This is all for camera. It's not, people are like, oh my God, they're taking over DC. This is fascism. I'm like, no, this is for the cameras, folks. This is for the cameras. It is. It is not a fascist takeover of the country. DC's not cooperating with it. It is not. It is for show. It is to try to exude this tough guy bullshit image. And if you don't believe me, these street journalists that are out there have started to pick up on this. This was shared by Amanda Moore. Um, just watch. Ooh, tough guys. Ooh, the tough guys. I told you, they're bringing their own cameras to film themselves to try to look. They are. It's fucking hilarious. They're literally filming themselves to try to look like, ooh, we're tough guys walking down the street. And then they'll put some narrative with that on their way to bust some immigrants, or, oh, we're going to break up some cartels, and we're going to, oh, God, please. I told you they were doing this. I told you, and on the streets of the DC, when I pointed out that is not a news camera. That is their camera. That is a guy they brought so that they could film themselves stopping people on the street. That is the shit that is going on, folks. This is not, look, we're a country of 330 million people. A country that will not be governed cannot be governed. They are desperately trying to create this narrative that they're tough guys. They are. And that's what these Republican governors sending additional troops to DC is all about. It's them trying to look tough. Oh, this is a serious situation. I had to send troops. DC is out of control. Bullshit. Crime in DC is plummeted. It is plummeted. And this is blowing up in their faces because people are not reacting the way they wanted them to. They thought they were going to have people attacking them and burning cars and smashing windows. They really thought they were going to bait people into violent reactions, but it hasn't happened. Etu Brutus, thank you for being here. UCMJ, as a vet, I'm ashamed of many currently active soldiers. Let me tell you, my take on these people being sent to DC. Let me tell you, this is Henry McMaster. He's the governor of South Carolina. He's trying to look tough. That old decrepit Henry McMaster. He's a tough guy sending them troops. And I got a different take on this that I'm going to tell you. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. It's just the way. It's just the truth, folks. It's just the truth. This is the governor of West Virginia, Fat Dog, and his handler, Jim Justice. Fat Dog. Yeah, we got a governor that walks around with his dog. Dog's name is actually Baby Dog, but I call it Fat Dog with his fat ass handler. Bette Midler called it best when he said that Fat Dog's ass would make a better governor than Jim Justice, and she's been right so far. Jim Justice is trying to look like a tough guy. He looks like grease melting. Let me tell you something about the governor of West Virginia. He's so in touch with the people. He is. He is one with the people. He understands the people. I mean, how could a man that owns this not be in touch with your average West Virginia citizen that's dirt fucking poor? One of the poorest states in the union. Yeah, this is the Greenbrier. Jim Justice owns this. Yeah. And of course, you've got the ultimate alpha male, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, the toughest of the tough guys, sent troops to DC. Folks, I've got a little bit of a different take on this than most. Most people are looking for clickbait. They are. They're looking for attention. They're looking for uh, uh, New West Bill. Thank you, brother, for clearing that up. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I always appreciate you being here, Bill. I really do. Al Yorkie, thanks for the last Paul. P.S. Putin might do in Alaska. Yeah, no kidding, right? A lot of people really believe that was a body double. I'm not going to go down that road. Gangsta Kitty's tougher. No kidding, right? William G. 8 his Gangsta Kitty would make mincemeat out of fat dog. She would. That cat is no joke, man. I got a cattle dog that is it's a mix of an Australian cattle dog, blue heeler, and an Australian shepherd, which is actually an American breed. I don't know why they call it an Australian shepherd, but they do. That is designed to move livestock, and I guarantee you, Gangsta Kitty dominates that dog. William G. Atheist, nothing but distraction. 15 people starved to death in Palestine in the past 24 hours, including a 6-week-old baby. I'm ashamed. That is, yeah, that is true. That is something that is unwinding, and we're getting more details on. You know me, I don't like to be the first person. I had a story that I decided that we're going to go with on Wednesday of a beautiful young woman, 21 years old, starved to death. They airlifted her to Italy, and she died under medical care. She died. She starved to death. They couldn't reverse it. I mean, yeah, we are going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this. Jeremy Breeden, Trump's distraction of putting the guard in D.C. is failing. Absolutely, it is. But what pisses me off is the optics of having troops in our capital for the rest of the world. Yeah, that is a downside to this. Let me tell you my take on it, which is an upside. Which there is an upside to this. I tend to look at these things as a political strategist, not just as, you know, I don't just take it as part of me, you know, it's dual. Part of me as a citizen, as a father, as a grandfather, I get enraged, but then I can clinically look at it as a political strategist. And let me tell you, when they started to pull more troops into DC, this side won. I just reflexively said, good, do it. And the petty side of me said, yeah, do it. Because this is why. If you go to the corporate media, overwhelmingly the pictures they share of the guard are black people. Yeah. Go do it. Go search DC guard. It will be a picture of a couple black people in uniform. That's not who just got sent to DC. No, they pulled these out of South Carolina. They pulled these out of West Virginia. They pulled these troops out of Ohio. And they pulled troops that they could rely on that are Trump supporters. These troops that are showing up in DC are all white, all white, all white. They are. And yes, there are going to be some guardsmen that are inconvenienced by this. Their families are hurt by this. And I am sorry that are not Trump supporters. That are not. I am sorry. But overwhelmingly, they will be. And that is the part that as a political strategist, I fucking love. One, the optics. I am going to keep showing you all of these white guardsmen. I am. And two, these people have jobs that you took them out of to do nothing. They're going to go to DC and they're going to be there for photo ops and to do secretary work. So they can't do any law enforcement. They can't. They're not going to. They're not trained to. They couldn't. Most of them couldn't if they wanted to. They're not trained for it. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're there for optics in August in a heat wave. And I am loving that for them. Those Trump supporters need to live through this. They need to be pulled out of their jobs and away from their families for no fucking reason, to fight non-existent crime, to harass American citizens who hate you now. Rightfully so, they hate you. You know, all those support the troops and all that. No, no, not when you do this. No. As somebody that is political and works as a political strategist, I'm telling you, I am loving this, because those types of people can't help but prove exactly what they are. And as the cameras are focused on them, if you are a Republican, they will be the last type of people you want the cameras focused on. Under Construction says, thank you for the laughs today. We just lost our senior Dotson missing. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry. Losing a dog is so hard. I wish they lived longer. I really do. John Leger, I think there's some kind of threat towards Trump and the administration to justify action going on in D.C. There's some hidden threat information they're not telling us. No, this is a distraction, John. Trump is in horrible, horrible trouble as a president. No, the jobs can't fire them. That's another thing that's beautiful about this. They're going to pull them out of their jobs, but only for 30 days. At 31 days, they have to start paying them the elevated benefits. That's something that they have done over and over and over and over again as they have deployed these guard troops, is at 31 days, they get full benefits. So they deploy them for 30 days. Their orders are only for 30 days. But no, they're legally guaranteed their jobs, which pisses off their employers. And let me tell you something that really does happen to guardsmen that I don't like. I really don't like. When something like this happens, those guardsmen are pulled away. The employer realizes, hey, I was patriotic and I wanted to support this shit. But you know what? They just pulled this guy to DC for no freaking reason. And I hire him for a reason. He does a fucking job here. Now everybody's covering for him for bullshit. And they legally can't fire them for being pulled away. But it is amazing the number of guardsmen that are pulled away for shit like this, whose jobs suddenly start finding performance issues with them when they get back on the job. Because they'll replace them and they don't need to. And the guy that they hired to replace him, he's not a guardsman. She's not a guardsman. She's not going to disappear because the shit president is in trouble. This is really, really happening to these right-wing Trump supporting fucks. Go stand out in the heat. Do it. Go be in a photo op. Go leave your family for guard pay, which doesn't compare with most people's real job money, for non-existent crime, to own the libs. Put your skin in the game to own the libs. I love this for you. I love this for you. Middle of fucking August. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Meanwhile, we keep getting footage from these agents, and this is the kind of thing that they're trying to distract from. This is all blowing up. Even immigration, Trump is down to only his hardcore MAGA base supporting it because they can't hide who they are. I want you to listen to this agent. First of all, those of you in law enforcement, back me up on this. These are not trained law enforcement. These guys are not trained law enforcement. Look at the way they work together. No, this is not a trained unit. Listen, watch them just walk off and this, that, and the other. That is not what happens. No, This is piss poor. These are when we Democrats take power in the midterms, we are going to hold hearings on who the fuck they hired to fill these jobs and their backgrounds. And I promise you, we're going to find fucking criminals. We're going to find members of the Proud Boys. We're going to find people that are barred from taking federal law enforcement jobs in these positions. But watch this guy.
Yo, let's see some badge. Yo, let's see some badge work. Boys, let's see some badge work.
And when I said that they're not getting the footage that they wanted, it's because this is the way the people are reacting.
You got to answer to somebody.
So, wait, so you guys are just masked? We're just masked up?
Who are you?
Who are you guys?
I don't care, my guy.
You don't care what agency?
You don't care.
Bro, what agency you guys with? Are you guys working for the U.S. government or not?
Back the fuck up.
Can I see some badge work?
Back
sir?
up.
Sir, can I see some badge?
Is the camera on? Is your... Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh.
Liberals already ruined it. That went viral. That went viral. Yeah, the hearings on who these fuckers are, it's going to be priceless. It is going to be priceless. And the corporate media is going to be all over it because that is the kind of shit that sells. That is the kind of shit that sells. It does. But yeah, it's not just that. Listen to this guy. And this is what I'm telling you. They're not getting what this is blowing up in their faces. They're not getting what they wanted out of this. They wanted tough guy bullshit. We're filming ourselves walking down the street. Ooh, we arrested a criminal and we this, that, and the other. We sent 20 people to arrest a lawyer that already surrendered himself. They're getting chastised for all of it. And they cannot help but show people who the fuck they are. And that's why I'm telling you, send those troops, send them. By all means, the people of DC don't give a fuck. They're pissed off that you're inconveniencing them. They aren't intimidated. But yeah, listen to this guy. Listen very carefully to what he says.
I thought the Proud Boys meetup was next weekend. Are you guys just a little early, just hanging out before, you know?
Proud Boys? They're great guys.
Oh, they're great guys? Oh, perfect. Federal agent. Proud Boys are great guys.
They love the United States.
They love the United States.
Yeah, let me play that again for you. Listen to what he says. This is the kind of reaction they're getting from the crowd. You know, they're chastising them. Say, hey, the Proud Boys meeting until next weekend. What are you doing here early? Because that everybody knows who these people
next
are.
weekend. Are you guys just a little early, just hanging out before, you know?
Proud Boys? They're great guys.
Oh, they're great guys?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Federal agent. Proud Boys are great guys.
They love the United States.
They love the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those hearings are going to be lit. Those hearings on who the fuck you hired, who the hell our tax money went to, is going to be lit. Because let me tell you something about the Proud Boys. they got records, man. They do. There are so many of those people that are absolutely barred from federal employment that these people are absolutely employing right now. And they're going to be people that are try to sell the fear for clicks and, oh, pay attention to me. Be scared. You got to be here, man. You got to follow me because, you know, look at, oh my God, the white supremacists are here. Yeah, you tell by this kid's voice. He's a teenager. He's a kid. He don't give a shit. Nobody cares. Show your fat ass up in DC and sweat with your sorry, stinky swamp ass. Don't nobody care. Fuck you and your Proud Boy ass. Nobody cares. But you can't help but show us who you are. You can't help but show us who you are. And I'm telling you, folks, get involved. Get involved with your local party. Do what you've got to do. Don't just hand Democrats a majority, hand them a super majority. These hearings are going to be off the hook. The last half of Trump's presidency, which I hope to God he doesn't die of old age and illness before then, is going to be wonderful to watch. It is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, we're losing our country, this and that. We can't lose what we won't give them. We can't. We're a country of 330 million people. We're going to do what the fuck we're going to do. They can try, but they're not. They're not going to be able to take our country away. They show us who they are, and that is, I hate to say this, I mean, as a father, as a person, it makes me ill. It makes me angry. It makes me just want to just punch that fucker in the face. It does. As somebody that understands politics and knows that people don't vote to say thank you, they vote to say fuck you, this will motivate people. This will motivate people to get off their one single issue that hasn't pissed off and say, oh yeah, I got to go vote for Democrats because this shit's got to stop. Caroline Holt, Canadians won't be visiting the U.S., especially with Maine's Joseph Martin spouting his ridiculous comments. Our family from the States came to visit us now. Yeah. If you don't know, Joseph Martin is a state senator up in Maine who sent a letter to Canada telling them to get ready to be our 51st state. Anything to distract people, anything to distract. They're failing. The economy's dying. We're in stagflation now. Inflation keeps going. They're tacoing out on the tariffs. On the world stage, we're being humiliated. In Ukraine, we're being humiliated. It's just one thing after another. Gaza and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza that's playing out, just everything is just destroying these people. So they just want anything. They're going to be horrible. They are. They're going to be awful. They are. As a spectacle, but we're about to talk about something that is very, very real. Elections have consequences, and this is a horrible one. Michael Walk. You can tell most of these guys are not law enforcement, given their physiques. Look like they have their third Big Mac. Had their third Big Mac that afternoon. Yeah, you could tell by the way they act. These are not people that were trained to do this. Hell, you've got an agent on the ground, and you've got other agents just walking away. Just walking. That does not happen, folks. You have people walking up with cameras that are at their car. And that agent walked around his car and bent backwards over the hood. Get back, get back. That's it. No, that's not how it happens. That's not how it happens. You interfere with an arrest like that, you try to walk up that close and film, you're going to get an agent, a real agent in your face screaming at you, back up, back up. I mean, that's what you're going to get. I mean, they're trained to use their voices. These are not law enforcement. They're not. And the hearings on this is going to be spectacular. Well, look, talking about agents, I'm going to jump to I was going to do this at the end of the show. This is just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. Beautiful family, right? And I will tell you, I had to make a decision here. Most news outlets are blurring the kids' faces out. I made the choice to actually run this photo showing the children. And I did it for a reason. Because I took a look at the blurred photos and it made the kids seem unreal. It detached you from them. I want you to look in their eyes. This is Sarah Shaw. Sarah Shaw met somebody here, fell in love, and got married. About 4 years ago, she moved here to be with her husband. They had a family. About 6 months ago, they got divorced because after she moved here, she alleges he got abusive and she divorced him. She has a job here. She works for the state of Washington. She works with children. She works with troubled children for the state of Washington. That's what she does for a living. You remember the whole, well, we just want them to do it legally thing? Yeah, that's bullshit. Because she did everything legally. Everything. Except one. Except for one thing she let slip. Her family is in New Zealand. Her parents are in New Zealand. Her children wanted to go visit their grandparents. So she went to book a flight, and she lives in northern Washington, up in north. I won't tell you her hometown, but she lives in northern Washington. I've actually done this trip. I've actually flown out of Vancouver, Canada's airport before, because it is a great freaking airport. And it is a hub, and you can get direct flights out of there. So, and it was on our Alaska trip that I was telling you about earlier. When we wanted to fly home, we flew home out of Vancouver. And before I tell you this story, I want to tell you a funny story, because you're not going to want to hear a funny story after this. I love you Canadians. I really love you Canadians. I really do. We had an experience. We had an agent that this will make Mrs. Texas Paul laugh, because we were actually laughing in the airport. This guy was pissed. It was kind of their equivalent of TSA. And there was a bunch of us Americans there. And we're just, doing our usual airport shit. And he's having a meltdown, man. He is legitimately angry. And if you've ever heard an angry Canadian that isn't, now, Canadians cuss with the best of them. They really do. They are accomplished cussers. They are. But in a professional setting, they tend not to. If you have ever heard an angry Canadian that's not cussing, it is the most lovable thing you've ever heard in your life. It just is. I can't do a Canadian accent. I can't. But he was like, come on now, people. What are you doing? I can't do a Canadian accent. I just can't do it. But it was just, he was beat red. I mean, he's like, get your paperwork out. I mean, he was pissed. And we all started giggling to ourselves because it was precious. It was. We're used to hearing Americans scream at us in American English. I mean, it was, and it was great. We were all like, you just had to be there. You just had to be there. It was freaking hilarious, man. You Canadians are the best. You really are. You really are the best. But yeah, that was just, I'm sure it's not as funny to you as it was to me, but it was just priceless. So I'm telling you, I have been in this exact airport for the exact same reason. She took her children from Washington State to Vancouver Airport because when she researched sites, the only direct flight she could get to New Zealand, because she was taking her children, she wanted to put her children on this plane herself and have her grandparents there to take them off the plane. She didn't want them to stop in a layover. She didn't want that to happen. So she took them to Vancouver. Well, I don't know if you know this, but if you're an immigrant working on your citizenship, and she is just that, she's done it legally. She is 100%, as she put it, I's dotted, T's crossed. She checked everything but one. There's a permit that you can get to cross the border. If you live near Mexico or you live near Canada and you are an immigrant, you apply for a permit so that you can cross just like an American does. You just have to show this permit. Well, she checked the permit. She checked her kids' permits and made the assumption that, well, I did them all at the same time. My permit, their permit, everybody should be the same. She, like you said, she went through and she checked her. No, for some reason, her permit had expired. It was a different renewal date. And she didn't look at that. So she took the kids to the airport, dropped off the two older kids, and was coming back with her 6-year-old. Now, keep in mind, her 6-year-old's permit was legit and spot on. She is one of those people. Remember, they said, we just want them to do it legally. Bullshit. They arrested her and her child. And they sent her here for 3 weeks. They sent her down here to Texas and her child. She had 2 hearings while she was down here. 2 hearings. One, she asked for humanitarian parole because, like she was able to prove, she's done everything completely legally. The judge should have ended this there. He didn't. He denied her humanitarian parole. She had a second hearing for her child. Remember, he did nothing wrong. His paperwork was spot on. His permit was not expired. While she's down here in this fucking tent city, this goddamn concentration camp that they set up in Dilley, fucking Texas, down south of San Antonio, they refused to release her child to her boyfriend to be cared for. They finally just released her and her son. They finally just released her and her son because of this. This came out on CNN. Remember what I told you about how the Republicans, and we had our own Sarah, our AI generated Sarah, and that they would pick pretty white people that were the victims of crime, pretty white women that were the victims of crime, and they would use that as the narrative. They would make every immigrant the face of the person that hurt the pretty white girl. Yeah, they understand that. They understand that narrative. And the moment that beautiful young woman and her beautiful young children made the news, they released her like that. Keep in mind, had she been a black Haitian woman with a black son, they would have deported her. They have been deporting brown people for less than having an expired permit. She would have been deported if she was a person of color. But the moment that pretty face made the news, they released Sarah Shaw immediately. No additional hearing. Let me tell you something. That judge, that immigration judge's, he should be forcibly locked up with his child. He should. He should be forced to endure that. The officers at the airport that arrested her, where she took all of her paperwork to show that she was legit, they should be arrested and held with their children. They should endure this. That would be just. If you are that immigration judge, I am telling you, I hope that your child who did nothing wrong is locked in a cell in a fucking concentration camp for weeks without you knowing whether he's going to be released or not, whether you're going to be separated or not. I want you to endure that. But yeah, that is our country, folks. It is bigoted at its core. Because the minute they found out it was a beautiful young white woman that made the news, that was it. They wanted it over. Skeet Sayre, I am sure a class action lawsuit is coming for ICE. Oh, more than that. More than that, my friend. More than that. They are going to be held criminally. You give Democrats the majority they need in the midterms, and I promise you, there's going to be some incarcerations. But speaking of bigotry, speaking of hate, y'all remember Kim Davis? Y'all remember Kim Davis, right? Well, she's back in the news. See, she, you know what? Let me give you a little background on her before we start, just so you got a frame of reference, a taste in your mouth. Kim Davis is the sorry piece of crap that made national news because it betrayed her godliness, her Christian faith to issue a marriage license to a gay couple. It offended her beliefs. Her Christianity was held in question. She could not do that because she is a person of God. Now, let me tell you a little something about this person of God. Kim Davis has been married 4 times. She so believes in the sanctity of marriage. I love you people so much. Silly Bee-Boo here. 4 marriages. I love how informed you people are. Little Miss Kimmy Davis has had 4 marriages. All of them the sanctity of all of them. Let me tell you, it's much worse than just 4 marriages. Much worse than 4 marriages. See, she had 2 children with her first husband. Then 5 months after, and you do the math on it, divorcing her first husband, she had a set of twins that were not her first husband's biological children. Now you do the math on that. Then she married her second husband, who was also not the biological father of her twins. Then divorced him and married her third husband, who was the biological father of her twins. You can imagine what happened in that marriage. But apparently, husband number 2 is dumb as dog shit because she then divorced husband number 3, who is the biological father. Now, remember, we're up to 2 baby daddies now. Is the biological father of her twins, divorced him, and remarried her second husband. I believe the biblical term for that is whore. But I will have to check my Bible. This is the woman who is preaching godliness. This is the woman who believes she has the right to judge others and who they can marry and who they can love because she is righteous, a woman of God. And I will tell you, she is what I know to be most Christians. She is what I know to be most Christian. Not all Christians. There are some wonderful Christians out there. There really are. But she is the perfect example of what I find most Christians, and especially right-wing Christians, to be. Skeet's there. Talk about how Grindr crashed during the RNC propaganda expo. Yeah. Happens every time. Every time you have a Republican National Convention, Grindr crashes. And the airport is filled with gay prostitutes. Yeah, they actually did a news story during the last RNC convention. They interviewed gay prostitutes who talk about how this is when they make their big money. This is their Super Bowl. Yeah. But they're preaching, they're people of God. Amy Manuel, in 2018, I ran against our local 3-time divorced Kim Davis named Julie Luke, Denton County clerk, made national news in 2015. Yeah, these people are fucking gross, man. They are gross. Loving when Texas Paul spills all the tea. I'm telling you, you got to know who these people are. You can't let them pretend to be something they're not, because she is doing this. When she lost her job, a bunch of right-wing idiots gave her money because she's going to be righteous and a woman of God. They sent her money. This is her grift now. This is what she does. She has a case that she's trying to get the Supreme Court to hear so that they can overturn the Obergefell decision. If you don't know, Obergefell versus Hodges was a Supreme Court decision which affirmed gay marriage. She wants that overturned. In her words, she wants them to overturn it exactly the way they did abortion. Back in 2022, the Supreme Court, just to remind you, in Dobbs v. Jackson, overturned Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. She wants that for Obergefell. Most of your experts are saying it's a long shot at best because, well, legally her outfit sucks and the case they're making is so screwed up legally. This was not their best legal minds putting this forward, that the Supreme Court is more than likely going to not hear it just to avoid getting stuck in this and giving credibility to arguments that they don't actually want to uphold. But you never know with the Supreme Court. I mean, we told you they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, and they did. We told you they were going to come after Medicaid. They lied to you and said, no, we're not going to do that. No, we Democrats told you. Yes, they are. They have said it over and over and over again. They want to get rid of your Medicaid. They want to get rid of your Medicare. They want to get rid of your Social Security. They have been saying it for 70 years, and they mean it. So what did they do? In the big ugly bill, they wrote a budget that sequesters funds out of Medicaid. They always use these back doors. They always use these back doors. And one of the biggest back doors is to send it back to the states. States' rights. States' rights. You need to get very accustomed to asking the question. Dollar Straw says, you're on fire. Love you guys. Thank you for being here and supporting the show. Can't do it without you. Could not commit to this full time without your support, and I'm very grateful. Folks, we've told you who they are. They have told you who they are. Well, I need to know something. Who here in the audience is in an interracial marriage? Raise your hand if you're in an interracial marriage. Let me see in the audience affirm if you're in an interracial marriage, or your family, or your children, or God, I love you people. Pam Matthews, I love you people so much. Seriously, I want to know. I know it's a lot more than Et tu, Brutus. Whose heritage is the foundation support? No shit. I want you to look at all the people that are in interracial marriages. Did you ever in your life dream, as we told you, they would take Roe v. Wade away? You women never dreamed it would actually happen. That was settled law, right? They said it was settled law. It's just what it is, right? And people like me have been telling you forever, no, that they are Christian nationalists at their core. Not Christians, Christian nationalists. That's a different thing. That's a fascist, misogynist movement. They are Christian nationalists at their core, and they are bigots at their core. I don't know why we keep telling you over and over and over again, they want to do these things. And people, I don't know, I guess you just don't want to believe. How many crying people that supported Trump that are watching their family members get deported do we have to show you before you believe when I tell you something about these people? It's because I have fought them for decades and I know who the fuck I'm fighting. AG, my wife and I are raising children. We've already had to sit down and explain to her why some speak about our family. No parent should have to prepare their child for that kind of fear and uncertainty. Yeah. Mrs. Texasfall and I had that conversation this morning. This is Richard and Mildred Loving and their beautiful family. Before the bravery of Richard and Mildred Loving, it was illegal in much of the South to have an interracial marriage. It was a crime. They were arrested for it. They were forced to flee. When they returned home, they were arrested again in jail, which led to Loving v. Virginia, the decision that told states, no, you cannot do that. So when they say states' rights, always ask the question, as in when they talk about the Civil War and they say it was about states' rights. The question you immediately ask is, states' rights to do what? States' rights to do what? Because that is happening all over again. Let me introduce you to the governor . One second. Let me get this video up. One second. Lost the tab. I got to pull it back up. There we go. Got it. Let me introduce you to the now governor, then senator from Indiana, Mike Braun, talking about Loving Virginia.
When you want that diversity to shine within our federal system, there are going to be rules and proceedings. They're going to be out of sync with maybe what other states would do. It's a beauty of the system. And that's where the differences among points of view in our 50 states ought to express themselves. And I'm not saying that rule would apply in general, depending on the topic, but it should mostly be in general, because it's hard to have it on issues that you just are interested in when you deny it for others with a different point of view.
Send it to the states, he says. Send what to the states? States' rights to do what? What should we allow some states to do? Governor Braun, who is working to get a case through the courts to reach the Supreme Court so that the Supreme Court can do the exact same thing they did in Roe v. Wade to Loving v. Virginia, which is to send that back to the states. Zebediah Strange, whatever the F they want, that's why we need a Fed. Yeah, exactly why. They're trying to reword it. Folks, this is real. This is really happening. He is trying to put the shit back in the horse right now. He is. He's trying to put the shit back in the horse right now, but they aren't, because even his recharacterization of what they're trying to do, which is to send a case to the Supreme Court so that the Supreme Court can do the exact same thing they did in Dobbs, which is to overturn Loving v. Virginia to allow us southern states who have a different view to do what? What different view do they get to express, Governor Braun? What do you want to allow my fucking state to do? Because my beautiful, intelligent, smart, caring, young, Hispanic grandson is in love with a wonderful, beautiful, lily white young woman. What the fuck do you want my state to be able to tell my family? Fuck you. This is who they are. At their core, they are Klan. They are bigots. They have filled our federal departments with these fucking bigots. I showed you the goddamn tapes of it leaving their mouths. Proud Boys are great. They love America. I showed you a governor, a sitting governor, a former senator, telling you out of his own goddamn mouth that the United States Supreme Court needs to allow states to weigh in and do what states believe is right. Do what, Governor? Do what? Make it illegal to marry someone that is not of your race. That is it. That is what they want to do. So let me please re-stress this to you. Please let me re-stress this to you. They're fucking bigots at their core. They have always been fucking bigots at their core. I told you they're going to overturn Roe. No, that's settled law. That'll never happen. Boom, Roe was overturned. What? We didn't believe they'd do that. Then after they did that, you stayed the fuck home. And you didn't show up in the next election. Then they went after Medicaid. I didn't believe they'd do that. Grandma needs Medicaid to stay in her old folks' home. No shit, Sherlock. That's what I told you. Show the fuck up. Oh, but my one issue. Well, they won't touch my Medicare. Oh, really? They just wrote a budget that sequesters $500 billion out of Medicare in a program that must grow every single year. Pay attention. Medicare must grow every single year. Why? Because we're aging. More and more of us are getting into that system. Therefore, it will need more money every year. They wrote a budget that sequesters, that means takes out of Medicare, $500 billion. It doesn't grow to meet what its requirements are. It takes money out. That is a backdoor destruction of Medicare. If you don't fund it, it ain't there. But everybody said, no, they won't touch my Medicare. Now they're talking about Social Security and Trump accounts that they passed in the last budget, which Scott Bessent said out loud. Trump accounts are a backdoor to privatization of Social Security. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you about Medicaid. I told you about Medicare. I told you about Roe. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you they're fucking bigots. I showed you the fucking bigot, racist motherfuckers wearing our badge, us the people, under the collar of our law, telling you Proud Boys are great people. Proud Boys are great people. They love America. They're fucking racist pieces of shit that hates everybody in America that doesn't look like this. What the fuck do I have to do to get you to just walk into a voting booth and fucking vote? That's all you got to do. I'm not asking for D-Day. I'm just asking you to fucking vote. But Hakeem Jeffries, I'm sorry, Chuck Schumer, I just fuck you. I can't with this anymore, people. I can't. You have one last chance. We've warned you in election after election after election that if you do not show up and you do not hand the Democrats as much power as humanly possible, they will do these things. And they did it. They did everything. Everything we told you they would. Now they're coming for interracial marriage. Is that far enough that you can finally listen to me and just vote? That's all I'm asking. Oh, but they may intimidate at the polls. I don't care. Go anyways. Vote anyways. Well, they may try to fiddle with it. We'll sue them. We will fight that. If the poll numbers show to be off, we will fight that out in court. Your job isn't to second guess at this point. You've got one job. One job. Get Democrats elected. That means get involved with your local Democratic Party. And I don't care. I don't care. You know, you make that first pancake and it's fucked up. I don't care. If your candidate ain't perfect, you think that I am happy about the fact that Zoran Mamdani was a very vocal leave it blanker in the last election? Nah, that pisses me the fuck off. Do I support Zoran Mamdani? Hell yeah, I do. Have I told people over and over and over and over and over again, show the fuck up? He's the Democrat on the ticket. You elect him mayor. Anything you don't agree with after that, you fight it out. You don't want Chuck Schumer to be your leader? Well, he's not going to run in the next leadership election anyways. That's off the table. But you don't want Hakeem Jeffries to be speaker? You got a problem with that? You worry about that after we're having a speaker battle. Not before. After, because that's when they decide after the election who the leaders are going to be. I don't give a shit what your problem is. I don't give a shit what your problem is. We are beyond that. This is it. This is the last one. You don't give Democrats a strong majority in this election, you are fucking done. Then it gets bloody. It gets ugly. It gets into Diary of Anne Frank territory. This is it. There were plenty of chances to stop Hitler before Hitler became Hitler. Learn something from fucking history. Learn something from fucking history. I love you folks. I appreciate everybody that's been here supporting the show. I can't tell you. I tell you over and over again, I cannot do it without you. Pavlino, and with you 100%. Thank you. Lori, always here with big support. Thank you. I appreciate you. I am grateful. If I missed your comment, I'm terribly sorry. Zebediah Strange, thank you for being here, sir. Love the new supporters. Texas Paul, smash. Unfortunately, we got to get angry. Enjoy the fun. Enjoy mocking them. Enjoy the new stuff. Let it make you happy. Let it feed your soul. Lord knows I do this with you folks to do exactly that. Feed my soul. I do. Because you people do exactly that. But for God's sake, get the fuck out there and fight. And fight in the only way that matters. And that means putting asses in voting booths. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.